Hello, everyone.
Hi, Vivek. Okay. So I was also going through the assessments that you had submitted for Excel. Very good attempt this time. So I think it's all of you have scored pretty well in the second attempt. Whoever has given, not gone through all, but most of you have checked. So today what we're going to learn is we will learn how to run these codes that we are talking about from the front end. I think somebody had asked initially also, do we need to run the codes all the time from the VB editor? And the answer is no. So typically when your work in the backend is done, we would like to create controls in the front end and know the means and methods of running the program from the front end. So there are mainly three ways to run the code from Excel. What are the three ways? Number one is a button. We can create a button. Number two is you can assign a shortcut key. And number three is that we can put it in the quick access toolbar, which is also known as QAT. So how do you assign a button? First of all, for today's session, we will all require developer tab. So if you don't have developer tab in your options, you're going to go to file, go to more options, and in options, you're going to customize the ribbon. When you click on customize the ribbon on the right side where you see the main tabs, check in front of developer and click OK. So file, options, customize ribbon, and check mark in front of the developer tab.
Yeah, we have done. I have done. Yeah, I have already done it. Yeah.
Okay, so if you have it, how does it work? So we go to the developer tab. Everyone has it?
Yes, Shishani.
Yes, Shishani.
Yes, Shishani.
Okay, great. So once you go to the developer tab, you will see, you will go to again insert. Inside insert, these are the form controls that we will be using today in order to make an interactive front interface for the user. So the first one is a button. So all these form controls that you see, you have to draw them. So we click on the form control. We can create it. When you leave it, it'll open the macro, assign macro window. So whichever program you want to assign to it, let's say odd number, I want to assign this and I click OK. Once I've clicked, then you can also go ahead and change the text assigned to the button. Once that is done, and you can also, make it bigger and smaller, all those things you can do. And once that is done, once I click on this button, it is making the program in the backend run, which is related to the odd numbers. So instead of going in the backend, I can assign my macros to a button. And when you click the button, then your code starts to run. So how did we work with the buttons? We went to the developer tab.
Ishani, could you please repeat this process once again?
Sure. So just writing it also over here. So we went to the developer tab, insert. From insert, we went to form control. In form control, we selected button and create. Create it and then assign macro. Okay, how did I do it? I'll repeat again. So let's say there is no button over here. I'm going to cut it. Developer tab, insert, form control. The first one is a button. So we click here. We're going to create this. And once this is done, assign any macro that you've already written in the packet. We assigned the odd number and you can edit. All right, Shikhar?
Thank you, Ishani.
You're welcome.
Ishani, how can we fix this button? I mean, if, user not able to, resize it or move it, from one place to another? We need to protect a cell or something.
No, you can't protect a cell in this case because it is on top of your Excel cells. Never did it. Don't know. Goes in my pool of questions. I'm sure through VBA code we might be able to do something. Oh God, I have 2 more questions I haven't answered yet. I'll add on to these 2 questions this thing. I don't know the answer, Kshitij. So,
No worries.
how to fix button? No, I'll see.
Even Ishani, can we come out of the code in between? Because sometimes, say, there's a lot of okays we have to click up and click up and click up, and then it goes to the tab. So is there a way that we can, don't have to, when we are validating a code, running it?
You can press, like say, instead of OK, I can press escape.
Escape doesn't work.
Escape should work, or nowadays, it's
Even
not there in my...
cancel doesn't work.
Actually,
in that
escape
case.
works in like kind of like if we have wrongly input infinite loop. So like if we press escape button for 5 seconds, so we can come out of that. Like we will get end option or debug option, and then we can come out of that particular loop without closing the file.
Okay, I'll try.
Actually, I wrongly input that infinite loop, and then I thought I have to close that file. Then I tried that escape option.
Escape may work, may not work. Lot of time I have run into infinite loop. Escape doesn't help me. I have to close my workbook. In fact, what
I'm lucky one.
Lucky one. Initially, on our laptop, we had something called a break. There was a key called break, something like that. Now it is not there on my laptop. So typically you could have done control break and give a break to your program also. Nowadays I don't know where break is. I don't see it anymore.
Even I cannot see.
Yeah.
So cancel even does, it doesn't work.
Do you have a cancel key?
Sometimes there is a cancel key.
Ishani, I want to add on. Escape is works, but it's depend on what is your loop interval. So if long coding and there are stop many times, for example, 1 minute, 2 minutes waiting for next loop. So escape is working. If there is no interval, it's working very fast. So that is not
escape
work.
Doesn't work. All right. Okay. That's why it's maybe varying. All right.
Shani, can we assign a private sub into the buttons?
You mean events?
No, private sub.
Yeah. Whether you public and private sub, anything you can assign to the buttons. That would not be a problem. Okay, would not be a problem.
But if we are assigning the codes, then the private subs not appear in the list.
Why wouldn't it appear? For example, let's go to our backend. And we were working on module 2. Let's go at the very end. So I had yesterday created, let's say, private test 1.
Yes.
Yes, it's not there.
First, we need to make it public, then we can assign, I think.
Yeah, test 1 is not there. You're right. Interesting thing. Yeah, it seems you can't. They
I
never
think only
tried.
public, I think only public shall be
Public
kind
is
of
showing
sense.
up.
Yes.
Right. One more thing, let me try and experiment since you said that. See, a lot of times you don't do it, so you don't even know it, whether it works or not.
Tried in not in working.
Assign macro, this also won't work.
Yes, I have tried a lot of time.
Okay, you did. All right, it doesn't work. Private won't be getting assigned. Interesting. Okay, next way of doing it, one is your button. Second way of doing it is assigning a shortcut. Now to assign a shortcut, again, Alt F8, the same window opens up, which is assign macro. And then we can select the macro we want to run. Let's say I want to assign prime. I can go to options, and in options, give the control key. So for example, control Q and OK and cross it. So whenever I press control Q, that prime number program will run for me. Right. So how did we work with this? We went to Alt F8, which again opens the assign macros. Select macro, go to options and assign shortcut. Then we have a quick access toolbar. This is where your quick access toolbar is on the very top. And the work of quick access toolbar is to quickly access any of the features or the tools that we have in Excel. So for example, let's say I do advanced filtering a lot. So to go to advanced filtering, first we need to go to data and then we reach advanced filtering. So rather than going to data and advanced filtering, I can simply say right click and I can add it to the quick access toolbar. Now, anytime I press Alt, even these gets a number. So I have to just press Alt and 4 for it to work. Now I don't have to go to the main table and main ribbon and then go inside it and then get the output. So my shortcut has become shorter. It has become easier to access it. So that's the role of a quick access toolbar. So just like how we can place our Excel tools up over here, we can also place our macros over here. So how do you place macros? We are going to go back to options and you will go this time to quick access toolbar. In quick access toolbar where you see popular commands, we will pick macros. And again, it will give you the list of all the macros that you have. So whichever macro you want to assign, let's say reverse, I don't remember, service provider, we click on add, it gets added to the list of quick access. Since all the macros look alike, I would suggest give a different symbol, even though these symbols may not have a direct relationship to what that macro does, but at least you will remember which symbol does what, and then we can click OK. So on the top, it's now there. If I click over here, enter the 10-digit number, and I press, it gives me Airtel and out. So this is how your quick access toolbar works. So what did we do? We went to options. In options, we went to quick access. Then we went to macro commands. And from macro commands, we select the macro. And then we add it to quick access. And then modify the icon. That's it. But which one should be used when? Any thoughts? When should I use which one? When should I use a button versus shortcut versus QAT?
QAT is just like speed dial in mobile side.
But very good example. So Sanjeet, the speed dial that is in your mobile, can it be in some other person's mobile? Can you transfer it?
No.
No. So this is very personal. Okay.
Yes.
So if I email my workbook, not my QAT does not go. So if I have macros which I'm not using on a very regular basis, but I know that I need them once in a while, then I can put it on my QAT because I don't have to take the hassle of remembering which workbook, where are they kept and all those things, because automatically when I use them, it opens a workbook, it closes a workbook. I don't have to bother about opening the workbook at all. So that's a
Yeah.
benefit. And this is my personal thing, right? I can't
Yes.
transfer it to someone. Buttons should be used when? Tanu, when do you think buttons should be used?
In a dashboard or something. Oh, sorry.
Dashboard or without dashboard also?
To make it a user friendly.
To make it user friendly, right? Because with buttons, with the proper text inside the buttons, a person know exactly what, when I press this, what will happen. So anytime we are sending it to our, senior managers, or when we are sending to our clients, then definitely buttons should be there, because then we are not leaving for their understanding how to operate the sheet. The button with proper instructions are there, and they will know when to click on it. Assigning shortcut should be done if you're using this macro every day, so that you don't have to take the pain of remembering the shortcut, or it's not that you forgot the shortcut, hence your macros, you don't know how to run it anymore. You have to go and check it out. So if there is a macro that I'm going to use on a daily basis, I'll assign a shortcut key. If there are macros that I need for my purpose only, and I'm going to use it not that frequently, I'll put it in QAT. If I'm doing any kind of client work or anything for a senior manager, I would always put a button in it. All good?
If we forget a shortcut key, then where we can find it?
So you can go to Alt F8, search for your, which one did we use over here? The
Prime one.
Prime
service
number.
provider. No, this was service provider. So if I go to service provider, I can go to option. Oh,
No, prime one.
prime number. Okay, prime number and options.
QAT.
And I can look at my shortcut.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next set of things. Then we have another thing in our developer called combo list, combo box, combo list and a list box. Both of them, what is the work of these two? These two are used to create drop-down list. Do you remember anything in Excel? Do you remember how we can create a drop-down list in Excel?
Data validation.
Data validation, correct. Absolutely correct. It's done through data validation. So same work that you do in a data validation, we can do using a combo list and a list box. Now, what is the difference between the two? So if you look over here, so all these form controls that we will be working with is something that you're already familiar as a end user. You've not created, but you use it. So if you look at the boxes on font style and size, these are called a list box. So like you see, it's a little, wider box, and in which you can see more than one value at a given point. So these are called list box. And if you see at the bottom and for the underline, this is your combo box. Okay. In combo box, what's the difference? There is a list that when you click on it, it opens just like your data validation. However, at a time, you will be able to see one at a time. So when should I use a combo box versus a list box? When should I use a combo box versus a list box?
When we have a limited values, I mean,
Then
like 4 or 5, then we have to, use combo box.
correct.
And we have,
Yes, multiple selections.
yeah.
Not multiple selection. This multiple selections doesn't work for both. The reason it doesn't work for both is if I'm selecting two things, it needs to return me two values. In one cell, I can't have two values, so it can't return. Okay. It can be done.
Checkboxes for multiple.
Yes, absolutely correct, Naveen. For that purpose, we have check boxes. So I would use a combo box if the items are less. And my definition of less is probably less than 8. Then I think it's comfortable. More than 8, I think it's too much to look at. And a list box is used for higher number of items.
Shani,
Now,
can you give me an example?
Of?
I know the data validation, but I'm not sure about the list box.
That I'm going to show to all. None of you know that.
Okay.
Okay. So when we created validation in Excel, when you create validation in Excel, what is the first thing that you require for the list to be created?
List of names or
List of
anything.
values or
Like
The
anything.
values.
Select
Absolutely.
the values.
You need the source, right? First, you need is a source. So let's say, what we want to do, we want to create a list of products. So I'm creating another sheet. Sheet 9 is doing anything. This was our function. Okay, so let me use over here. This is the product. And then I'm going to use one. Okay, these events are irritating now. And the customers, copy sheet 9. Right now, what should I do to these lists? Should I use it as it is, or some kind of treatment should be done?
Remove duplicates.
Remove duplicates.
Yes.
All right. So I remove duplicates. Now think about when you look at the list, when you go online or when you're using any softwares, the lists are haphazardly arranged, or do they have some sorting order?
Sorting.
They are sorted A to Z.
Alphabet.
Yes. So all those things you also keep in mind, that it's not this you are the end user for someone, you're creating it for someone, so it has to be as neat and clean and as intuitive as possible. So same treatment I'm doing on the customer list as well. So I remove duplicate and I've arranged it. Now once this is done, let's create the form controls. So first I'm going to create a combo box, and I'll use the list which is lesser in number, which is product, and I'll use list box for customer. So how do we create it? Oh man. Insert. This is my combo box. So remember, this shows only one value. So when you create it, make it a thinner one, right click. We go to format control. Over here, you have to give the range. Which is the range I have? My range is over here, right? And cell link. Cell link is going to be any blank cell that you pick and try to put it right next to the list. And I'll tell you what it does. But initially, you start it with a blank cell. So now we will see this list is ready. Okay, so this is what this is the product list. Then we have the customer list. So for the customer list, we want to create a combo box or list box. And remember, the list box is going to be little wider and little bigger. Can I request everyone to be on mute, please? And when you right click on it, and when you right click on it, same thing, format control. You give the input range, which I've kept over here, remove duplicate, sorted. And again, the cell link, which is should again be kept next to your list and should be empty cell. Now, what does it do? What is the role of the cell link that we were talking about? So what we can do now is we can click and select the product. We can select the customer. Now, if I say that based on who is my customer and what's the product, if I wanted to find the number of transactions, which function should I use? I've not done it with you, but I've given you videos for it. If I wanted to find how many transactions have been done by Google and the product was Sunshine, we use a function called countifs.
Countifs.
Right? Countifs. So how do you use a countifs? I'm just naming so that work becomes a little faster. So it says equal to countifs. Countifs is a function which helps us to count based on multiple conditions. What are the multiple conditions? The product has to be Sunshine and the customer has to be Google. So first it is going to ask you what is a criteria range. Range meaning on which column of your table will you go and check for the condition. So I will go to the product column for the first one.
Yes.
Right? And Now it is asking the criteria. Criteria means the condition. What is the condition? It is sunshine.
Sunshine.
But this is not in an Excel cell. So I can't just click on it and pick sunshine. So how will I pick the sunshine? That becomes a challenge. Now, how do Excel know? How does Excel show that what the user has selected in the front end? It is through this cell link that we were looking at. Now this is 8. Why this is 8? Because if you look at it, sunshine happens to be in the 8th position of this list. And this is 4. Why? Because Google happens to be on the 4th position of the list. So what is going to be put in your cell link is the position number of the item that a person has selected. Does it make sense? And it keeps on changing. So if I move from sunshine and if I said, let's say quad, and I said Amazon, then you will see it change to 5 and 1. Is this part clear? Cell link?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, can I say my criteria is 5 or my criteria is 1? Go search in the column of product and look for the criteria 5. Will it work? Can it go to the column of product and look for number 5?
No.
It can't, right? There's no number 5 in the column of product. So how do I convert this 5 into the product name? I can't hand type it because it's going to vary. Every time someone is changing in the front end, in the back end, this number changes. So how do I dynamically?
Take the reference, like what is this 5 sold? Like 5 will
Will
be
it
Indirect
show you
function.
the position of your the item that a person has selected?
it will have some reference, right?
So
It
we
will-
use the indirect function.
Not indirect.
Hmm.
Not indirect. There's no role of indirect over here.
In the function countif, we
No.
can create the
There is-
indirect.
There is a
Hyperlink to
function
numbers.
I don't remember.
I have taught you this function. If
With
I
this-
want to, who said that?
Index, I was thinking.
Index, Ankita, very good. Index, extraction
Yeah,
based on the
index.
positions. What is 5 and 1? These are positions. So remember when I was teaching you also that whenever you want to do a extraction based on position, I should be thinking of index. What is 5 and 1?
Yeah.
These are positions. So I can use an index function over here. Array is what? Array is my list. And comma, row number is the position over here. Same thing I can apply here, equal to index, this array, comma, the position. Now, if I want to create that function, I can. So countifs, product, comma, where is the criteria? Criteria is kept over here. It has to be quad, comma, customer is the next thing. Next column is customer. And in customer column, what should be my criteria? Amazon. Close the bracket, press enter, and I'll get 0. Why am I getting 0? Okay, because no sale happened. For let's say sunset, and Excel is very fun. 1 was happening, for Google 3 is happening, for Home Depot 5 happened. So like this, we are able to show the output to the end user. Is it clear?
Yes.
Right? Now tell me that I could have done this work very easily by using a list, right? I could have selected this in the validation. I could have selected this and this is easier. There is no role of index and nothing. I can drop down and I can refer to the cell in my formulas. Right? Guys, please mute. Who's not muted? Okay. So why do you think we need to learn these controls over here? What could be the advantage of putting a form control versus a normal list?
For end user look and feel.
Yes. And think about it. Do you think if I have multiple lists in my sheet, will anybody know there is a list sitting in H1 till you click on it? By looking at it, do you know there's a list?
No. You have to click. Yeah.
So it's not at all
No,
intuitive.
no.
This is completely not intuitive. So for an internal purpose, sometimes we might use this, but if you're going to give to someone else as a, what I think Abhishek was talking about, we're creating a tool for someone else, then definitely we need to use these form controls. We can't use a validation list because these are not intuitive at all. So yes, I agree. There's a little bit of work in the back end we have to do to utilize the output, but it has a great advantage in look and feel of the product that you're creating. All right. Any questions?
No, Shani, but can you tell that list how is it put again?
How it is?
It is put again. I can tell that how you
Uh-huh.
have put this one, which is not seen as
The validation.
Oh,
the validation.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's skip that. I won't really finish form controls. After
Okay.
everything gets done, I'll tell you how to put the validation. It'll hardly take 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The next thing we want to talk about is the checkbox. What are checkboxes? Again, you have seen these things. Like if I copy and do a paste special, skip blanks and transpose, they fall under the category of checkbox. So what's a characteristic of a checkbox?
We can select multiple.
You can select multiple. So when should I use a checkbox? When I want to offer this thing to the end user, then whatever are the choices, you can pick more than one. Then we are going to go to developer, insert. This one is a checkbox. We click on it and we're going to create it. What I typically like to do once I've created one, I just copy and paste for the rest of it so that the sizing and everything is not a problem. I just have to orient it well and say copy, paste. So let's say 3 checkboxes are going to be there. And you can go in the checkbox and edit the content of it. Let's say we are asking that what do you want to look at? Do you want to look at the total sales? Do you want to look at the number of sales? Or do you want to look at the average sales? Okay, so the person may say, I want to look at one or I want to look at all of them. So I want to give a form control where the person has the ability to pick all. Now, what do you think would be the output of this? Like the output of the list that we saw was a position number, and each list has one output. What about the check boxes? Do you think they will be one output or 3 outputs?
3.
3 outputs.
3 outputs. And what will be the output? Will it be something like a position or something else?
Value.
Reference.
Which value?
Table.
Which value? Which reference?
Total sales or a number of sales.
No, output in the sense like how do I know a person has checked it or not checked it? How will I get an output from these controls to use it in further programming or my Excel work?
We will define it by right click and go to the again form.
What is an output of a checkbox?
Yes.
True and false.
It's true and false.
Absolutely, it's true and false.
Yes,
You've
yes,
done
yes.
in the programming also, right?
Yeah.
I told you,
Sorry.
if it's checkbox, all it does, it returns you true or false. If it's checked, it's true, otherwise it's false. So each and every one of them will have a different cell link in which it will give its output. So cell links, typically you will never put in the same sheet where you have your form controls, because imagine for the end user it will be very disturbing. Suddenly numbers are popping up, true and false is popping up, he or she doesn't know what's going on. So all these things that we have, I'm just putting it over here just to show you what the output is. But typically we'll create a sheet where all the list, all these cell links, any kind of summary, whatever the backend work that exists over here. In the main sheet where the form controls are there, you should never have these outputs. Now, if I uncheck this, it becomes false. If I check it back, it becomes true.
Ishani, can it also be there that any one of the we check and the others?
Yeah,
I mean, any one of
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be one, it could be two, it could be all.
I mean to say that if you select the other one, the earlier one will uncheck.
That is another form control. Checkbox, like I said, what is a characteristic of a checkbox? The characteristic is to give multiple
Choices.
pick option. Right? Multiple picks I can do. I don't have to do only one. I can have multiple picks, which is not there in my list.
Okay.
Okay. Now tell me, how will I use this output of true and false either in Excel or in VBA? How will I
If
which
function.
if function? Which if? So many ifs I know. Normal if, nested if,
Nested ifs. Yeah, if nested ifs.
nested if.
Depend on the requirement of
it's-
the user, what he want.
No.
Total
Requirement of
sales
the
or-
user is not there. You are designing this thing. So you should know how to control it, not the user requirement.
I mean, like he click on the total sales only. So for this checkbox, we need to create
Do
a
something.
formula so that it can drag the total sales.
Correct. And
has-
if it says number of sales, then it has to do with total sales and number of sales. So how will you program this thing? How will you, what function?
If function.
If
Multiple
function, but
nested,
which one?
nested,
Nested or normal independently if?
nested,
Nested.
Multiple
because it
is
have
there, so nested.
multiple conditions are there.
But if you're saying nested, it doesn't it mean that it will be able to give me only one at a time?
Yeah, it will give only one.
Is it that I can only get one output?
But we need
No.
multiple.
We need independent ifs over here. Right? Because we will put a if function that if this is true, do this.
Yeah, that is
And
true.
over here, if this is true, do this. So all of them are supposed to work one by one, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
yes.
So this is
Yeah.
going to be independent, not nested. Because if you say nested means either one of them has to be true. Others have to be false only. And that's not the case. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now we go to option button, which Sanjeet, you were asking about. Those are called option buttons or radio buttons. Both are the names for it. And what is the characteristic of this option button or radio button is, again, you can only pick one at a time. Pick one value only. So why do we need it when we have the list? It becomes boring to look at one thing again and again. So just to give variety to our eyes, we can use option buttons over here. Right? How do you create it? Insert this round thing. These are the option buttons. I'm going to apply the same thing, copy and paste. And let's say over here, someone has put, you want to, let's say simple option I'm keeping, male or female. So in this case, if you select one and then if you go and select the other one, the first one goes away. Right? So Sanjeet, the one that you were asking is this one.
Yeah, now here nested loop can work.
What do you next question that I'll ask is what I've been asking is what do you think is the output? First of all, will it be one output or multiple outputs?
One output.
There'll be multiple output because we are checking male true and saying female false.
One output.
One output. And what would be that output?
That which is selected.
How, like what will be the output?
True.
Will it be true and false?
True and false, which is true.
Then it means two conditions. What if it's true? What does it mean? Have I checked male or female? How do I know? True means what?
State is state, then it is true.
Yeah, I mean male, if we are checking male, then male is true and female is false.
So Sanjeet, you are saying multiple, others are saying single, but in single also, can I have true and false? Never.
No.
I can't. What if there were 3 choices? Then what? One is true and second is false, and the third one is what? Very, very false. Not possible, right? So anytime, as a basic logic, anytime when you have a list and you can only pick one item at a time, output will always be the position number. Always.
Match.
Position number.
Index, match
No.
index, like this.
Oh, you've gone ahead. Come back, Vivek. So you don't have to put a format control on all of them. We are just going to pick any one and click on the format control. All you need to do is give a cell link. So if I put a cell link over here, it's giving me 1. Why? Because I've selected the first one. When I click here, it gives me the 2. So this helps me to understand what the user has picked. Again, the same question which Vivek was trying to answer ahead of time. What do you think, which function should I use in order to control it?
1, 2. If I'm choose, then I'm choose options.
Choose function, you're saying?
Yes, choose function. If I'm working, so
you can use choose, you can
choose
use
function.
nested if, you can use if you
Nest.
create a table and use VLOOKUP, right? You can use index, a lot of things you can use.
Yeah.
Right? So this could, if this is working as a position, then I can have a list like male and female, and based on what this position is, I can get the output. I can create a table with 1, 2, 3 and the respective values over here, use a VLOOKUP. I can simply use a nested if or something like this small. I'll rather use a nested if than create a new table. Or I can use a choose function, which I'm not a big fan of. Not a big fan of choose at all. So I would rather go with nested if less number of conditions are there, or more, the list is long, then I'll go with index. Okay. Now another issue is there. What is another issue? Let's say I have another bunch of option buttons. Copy paste. And this may be for what else could we pick? Okay, let's say default or no default. Default or no default. Now, what do you think? When I click on male and then if I click on default, should they work together as a group or they should be independent?
They should be independent.
They should be independent.
And are they independent right now?
No.
It's even giving me 3 and 4 over here because it's taking this as one big group. So
Yes.
how do I disconnect it? And all these things, it's not that you have not seen it. You have seen all these things, but not paid attention from the design point of view. You have seen this page setup previously in Excel? Once in a while you would have.
Yeah.
Over here, you see there's a portrait, landscape, so they work together. Adjust and fit, they work together, right? And you see scaling coming and orientation coming. So this is like a separator of the two things. This is called a group box. So again, we can go to Gunjan, you know all the answers. So we can go to insert and we can create a group box like this. And as soon as you create a group box, now you will see they will act. They're still not acted. Let's create another group box for this guy also. Now they have become independent. Okay, and you can always change the heading of the group box, edit this text so that you kind of give a meaningful title so that a person knows what he or she is going to look at. So I'll have a form control for this, cell link for this, cell link for this, independent. All right, last form control, and then we'll do a quick exercise to use these form controls and mix it with a small dashboard, not a very cumbersome, small dashboard. Last is pin button. Again, something you have already seen. This is called a spin button, this guy over here. This one is a spin button. So once you click up, it increases. Once you click down, it decreases, right? So these are buttons: spin button, combo list, check boxes, everything that we've learned. This is how, things are being used. So spin button is probably the only form control where I'll tell you to put the cell link right next to it. So this is my spin button. I'll click on it. I'll create a nice thin small one. Right click, format control. And now it is giving me what is the current value that you want in the cell. What is the minimum value you want a person to be picking up, what is the maximum value. And in fact, this is the minimum value that it can take, and this is the maximum value that it can allow. So it only can give you numbers between 0 to 30,000. It doesn't go beyond that. And then you choose what is the incremental value. So let's say if I want to start with 0, go all the way to 300 with an increment of 10, and I have to give a cell link. In this case, it's going to be right next to the format for the form control. And if I click up, it is increasing. If I click down, it is decreasing, and I can make this center aligned. Simple. So these are your form controls.
This can help in grouping table, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of things, like you have to just understand a couple of things. What is the role of each form control? Okay. Second, what kind of input it gives and how do you manipulate that value? Like which function would you use to use that value, and then, either use it in Excel or use it in VBA. Got it? So let's quickly do this.
So in Excel sheet, the scroll bar is a spin button, like a spin button.
This scroll bar?
Right.
It is a scroll bar. It's called a scroll bar only. So over here, if you go to developer, insert, this is scroll bar.
I mean, we are creating this form box and check box and all this. So if we are creating like this in Excel, how can we secure? I mean, just like you, anyone, the user can also amend these things.
The user can also amend these things. So how do you stop the user from doing all that, right?
Yeah, only option that only you can check box or you can spin it, or that's it. The right click option and all these things should not appear to the user, otherwise he can amend as per his requirement or whatever.
A very similar question to what Kshitij had asked. He had asked only about this list button, but it applies to all. So this is something I'll find out now.
That was a button that was above the Excel cells. These are in the Excel cells.
Nothing is in Excel cell.
Okay,
everything
these
is
are
on
also
top of
above
Excel.
the Excel cells.
Yeah. See, we are drawing on top of Excel. There's no cell.
But respond is coming into the cell like true and false and like that.
Yes, respond comes in Excel, but these are not Excel on Excel. It's not inside a cell, it's on top of Excel. Okay. So typically when you have these form controls, what you can do is you can design the whole user interface first, that okay, for this I'll give some option buttons, for this I'll have a drop down, and so on and so forth. And then once that is ready, you can easily get rid of your grid lines. You can give a nice colored background and then ask the user for the input, have a mixture of Excel and a VBA, and as and when they click on it, you give an output of it. I had a very nice sheet created for PwC Singapore. So there, if you open that Excel file, you feel like it's a software rather than an Excel file completely. I'll try to see where I've kept that file. I'll try to show it in tomorrow's class. But for now, let's do a small, let's have baby steps to understand how these can be linked. So quickly, in your LMS, I'm going to put up a file. In the class file only, I'll put on the class exercise part, I'll put. So open your LMS so that you can.
Could you please come once again on that Excel sheet?
1 second. Let me just upload the file so that meantime everyone can start downloading it. So in the class exercise part, dashboard 1, I've uploaded a file called dashboard 1. So download it. Yes.
I was saying that this checkbox, the end user selected this 2 checkboxes, and we want to show the result to him. So where will be the formula will be apply? We will independent if and formula will be applied.
In the Excel cell, wherever you want to show the result.
Okay, like this in front of in besides of this checkbox.
So for example, yeah, in front of the checkbox, I could put it, place it little better, because right now, if you see the cell and this is not really aligned very well. So alignment and all those things you have to check. And then we can put a if function that if this is equal to true, then what I want is the total sales. So I want the sum of sales and close. Otherwise, I want nothing. And so if it's checked, it will come. If it's unchecked, it won't come.
Okay, got it.
All right. So kindly open this sheet that I've sent you in the LMS.
Tani, in dashboard, you have pasted the picture or it's the...
It's a picture. It's a picture. I will also send you this small reading material on what we have covered, form controls. I'll send you this also. But right now I want everyone to go to this sheet called dashboard exercise 1. So we have done dashboarding in Excel, right? But we used pivot table slices. Sometimes slices work, sometimes we don't want slices also to be there. So instead of using slices, we might use form controls. So if you see over here, what I've done is I've already created your master summaries. So if you remember, we used to create summaries from the pivot table. So those summaries I've created from the pivot table and kept it over here. Now, what I require in the dashboard, this is an image. It's an image. It's not a dashboard. What I require over here is that if you select any of the regions, I would want that particular region's revenue, net income, and gross margins to be displayed for each month. Now, I'm not looking for, it's an image, so I'm not looking for that blue and a yellow kind of a thing. I simply want simple charts, but the chart should change as per the region selected. And which form control have I used in this image?
List.
List box. It's a list box. Okay. Now backtrack to think how will I create it? How will you create it? Over here, the summaries that you have, is it for one region or all the regions?
All the regions.
All the regions. The charts that you're creating is for one region or all the regions?
For all the regions.
All the regions.
But we select at one time.
One region at a time, right?
Right.
The chart that you're creating is for one region at a time. It is not all the regions are showing up. So
Yeah.
can I pick up this entire range and create a chart? Can I pick this and say, okay, let's create a bar chart? Would it work? Again, think.
No.
It won't work. Why?
No, it won't, because we'll select one region and then
exactly
against that
because
we'll select months. Yeah.
Because over here, all the regions are given. So when you plot it, it will plot all of them together. We don't want that. We want one at a time. So what will you have to do as a next step in order to achieve these charts?
We have to make a lot of charts.
No.
Checkbox.
Connect with the revenue, net income, and the last list separately.
So think about it. This is your master summary, right? This is giving you all regions. Do you want all regions? No, you want only one region. So what if you create an area, let's say if someone picks North, then I want to find out from Jan to December. This is what we want, right? and we'll cut and paste it over here. In fact, for North, Jan to December, I want the values for revenue. I want the values for net income. And I want the values for gross margin. And when I get these three values, these will be my three charts, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how will you get only values for North, revenue, Jan from the entire table?
HLOOKUP.
Indexing.
Index or VLOOKUP.
VLOOKUP, yeah.
Right? Either index or VLOOKUP, either way. So we
Yeah.
can use VLOOKUP.
Yes.
Lookup value is North, right? And do it. So create that. Once you've created that, then it's a matter of making this static thing a little dynamic by using your cell links. Right now it's static. I wrote it by hand or I copy pasted. But this should change as per the user is changing the option over here. So as and when the person picks an option over here, what changes? The value in the cell link changes. So you will have to link the cell or get the value in the cell based on the cell link value that gets returned.
Yeah.
Try. So revision of your Excel. For now, let's try to create the VLOOKUP formula only for revenue, because if revenue will work, all others will work. So just create quickly for revenue.
So Sani, where we found this Excel? On WhatsApp or
Oh no,
LMS?
WhatsApp, not WhatsApp. In your LMS, in this section of class exercise, dashboard 1.
Okay, I got it.
I hope all of you remember VLOOKUP and match. In fact, if you want to use this formula for copy and paste.
Sandeep, you can switch off your camera.
If you're stuck in VLOOKUP, do let me know. Don't waste your time sitting on it. Because the main exercise is to link your form controls to your Excel work. How many of you are done till this part? At least for revenue, you've created it.
Yes, done.
Others? Look at my formula, please, and please finish this VLOOKUP part faster. And if you're not able to do VLOOKUP, time to revise the videos. Sorry, Vinay, taking extra 10 minutes today.
Absolutely.
All right. Just want to make sure once the product is ready, at least they have a confidence of experimenting then.
Sure.
Sure. So Lalit is done. Shweta done. Others? Done. Abhishek. Pratibha done. Ankita done. Narendra done. Okay, once you're done with this, guys who are already done with this, now is the time to to go to a new sheet and create your form control of list box. So you don't have to create a source, because over here all the sources are there. This is a source you can pick directly. So go to a new sheet and create your list box using developer. Insert. This is a list box. Create it. Make it a little longer. And right click, format control. Give the input range, which is coming from your data sheet. And then the cell link, put it right next to this data sheet on top of North. Select any one cell so that something is there in the cell link. Pratibha done. If you're done with this step also, then this is static, right? So remember how we got the values based on the position? What did we use?
Index.
Index. So use index and convert this static value. On top of it, you just put the function index. This is my range, and comma, this is my row number. And now it has become dynamic. So now, as in when you change this value over here in your list, in your data, you will see this value changes, and hence because of the VLOOKUP function, all the rest of the values changes. And then it's just a matter of selecting and just create a chart, a column chart we want to create. We can cut it and paste it in our window over here. And as in when you click, it will keep on changing. So by simply using the form controls, we have created this dashboard. and you can finish it off then.
Ishani, I've done.
Yes.
Can you show it again? This list part.
So this is done,
Yeah.
right? You remember how to create a list box?
Yes.
So this is also created?
I'll just do that. Yeah.
Okay. Create it, right click, format control, give the input range and the cell link. Cell link, I'm saying, let's put it in the data sheet.
Oh, okay. Input range is
the list that you want it for it to appear. So I picked it again from data range. It's already well organized.
okay. Fine. Fine.
Anyone who has finished? Pratibha, have you finished? And Shweta, Pratibha.
On chart part, I'm done. 3 charts we need, right?
Yes, if you've done one, I know you've done.
Yeah,
Others, it's a replicate. It's a replica of what we're doing. Yes.
I was doing on that index part. Done.
All right. Pratibha? Done? All? Good. So you can log off if you want. Anybody who has done, has no question, can log off. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions. Abhishek done. Lalit done, Abhishek done. So nice and easy, right? Nothing complicated. It's just the mixing of all the concepts that you learned from the beginning of this training till now.
Shani done.
Deepika done. All right, wonderful. So you guys can log off and I'll see you tomorrow. Whoever is done, Tanu is also done. And tomorrow we'll work on charts.
All right, Ishani. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'll also show you one of the dashboard created by one of my students where he has used form controls, conditional formatting, some charts. Probably if you like what you see, you can try to. I can upload it and then you can try as a experimental thing to achieve what he has done. So that kind of thing could be there.
Sure, Ishani.
We'll try to.
Sure, Ishani.
Yes,
Thank you,
because
Ishani.
this was very
please
simple
paste.
one. Yes.
Yep. So Ishani, please paste that theory part on the LMS, please, of form controls.
Oh, it will be there. It's in the
Thank you.
workbook.
All right.
Thank
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ishani. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shani,
Anyone? Yes, Kshitij.
I'm stuck.
Where?
So
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, please.
All right.
So did we use any index function as well? I
Yes.
missed that part actually.
Yes. So right now, where's the form control?
Here. So
Okay,
it's
where is
kind
the
of
cell
like-
link? Cell link for it. So right click. Format control. A22. All right. Click OK. Go to data. A22. No. You can't give an A22. It already has a value, right?
Okay.
So you can either give it in A21. The cell link, put it in A21 or give it in A27. I would prefer A27 then. I don't like value sticking to the main tables. 27. Yes, click OK. Let's go to data. Now it's giving a value, right? Now converting this 3 into the value, not. So click on A22 equal to index. Pick the range.
I can pick from
Yes.
here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Comma, and then the ACE27, which is the cell link. Correct. Enter. So now this is north. Just change something in your form control, something different from north. Click outside once. It's in the editing mode. Yes. East. Check. Now it's working. So now if you pick these two rows and create a bar chart from A22 to
I was
M22.
thinking that, it will automatically pick the value. We don't need to, put the index, but it's, picking the position 1, 2, 3.
Yes. No, it
Now
won't give you value. And then you just need to create a chart now.
Create a chart. Yeah, good on that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
So Vishani, are we expecting any more assessment on VBA on Monday, coming Monday, or it's the last one or the final one which we had?
Please say no.
Ideally, there would be. Every week, we have to have an assessment of the previous week.
Okay.
So yes, it will be there.
Actually, on Monday, I have to, go somewhere else. So that's why I'm asking.
All right. Probably we can take a consensus from the group tomorrow and see if Monday is suitable for all or not. And then we'll decide, because you'll start with SQL also on Monday. I've seen typically you guys like a weekend before the assessment. So that's why I was thinking on Monday only. But we'll take a consensus from everyone. So that gives you time to revise and everything.
So will we have a final assessment also? Okay.
But you guys are doing well, so don't be afraid. You're doing well. You guys are doing good.
I'm quite disappointed after my last attempt. So
which one?
this
VBA?
one, yeah, VBA.
Assessment 2?
Yeah.
Don't be. I'll
I get disappointed every day when Ishani says, do this. I say what?
It was like for the first time, I went totally blank when I started that question, and for 10 minutes I was like, what the hell I did for so long.
No, don't worry. It's okay. Don't worry so much.
It happened with everyone.
Yeah, it happens every day.
My brain starts working, last 10 to 5 minutes.
After the class, even when we are relaxed and keep thinking over what we did and now what we can do.
It happens to everyone. I have spent nights where I've been sitting for 2 hours trying to get a code correct. Nothing worked, and I was angry. I slept. I wake up in the morning, have a cup of tea. Within 5 minutes, the code is running now. So it happens with everyone. So don't worry. I'll try to make it in such a way, or probably give a more duration so that it's relatively easy.
Yeah, I think I need 10 extra minutes to just, think it through, because I just get stuck. I don't. And once I get stuck, it's like end of the world for me. And then I just get into that.
No. This should be, in fact, I tend to, if something is not happening, which I wanted, it gets stuck in my brain. I can't sleep the whole night. I dream about it also. So my mind works 200% than 100%.
It happens.
Don't worry.
Okay. It used to happen to me when I used to, automate in Excel. So I prepared this tool, and once I got stuck in one formula, and I just spent like good 4-5 hours, and then I slept in the morning at 8 a.m. So that was
Don't worry, it's not going to be difficult. Don't worry about that. Okay, just do your best. Don't worry about rest of it.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Take care,
Thank you,
guys.
Shani.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
See you
Shani.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks more for motivating every time. Thanks.